Hello, welcome to today's class where we are going to be focusing on the feet and ankles. So for props, you're going to need a chair and then you might need a yoga block. You'll also need either a yoga mat or some other type of cushioning just to place underneath your feet, as you don't want to be pressing your toes into a cold, hard floor. So get all your props together and I will meet you on the mat. Alright, so let's get started with our chair. So you're just going to use your chair to rest on a bit like a ballet bar, and we're going to be starting with what I call pony walks. So we're just doing kind of a trot motion with our feet. Great warm-up exercise. So the body's nice and tall and long, stomach is engaged, core is sucked in, and I'm just bending and straightening one knee up onto my tippy toes. So starting up high and then dropping down the heels one at a time. I've got my big toes touching, and I want you to really think about trying to keep the heels in line with the toes, so not kind of opening out inwards or outwards. Just lift up the heels exactly in line with the toes. Good. All right, we're going to adjust slightly. So we're going to bend our bottom leg. We've got both legs bent, but we're up onto the heel of the toe of the other leg. So nice deep bend, popping that heel up and over the toes. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold the last one. So I'm bending down. I've got a nice straight spine, and you can see I'm lifting my heel up as high as I can. Hold the heel in position, and I just want you to flip it back and forth over the toes. Good. So what we are doing is we are training the ankle to stay in a pointed position even while the toes are doing different things. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1, and change. So stay in your bend. Lift the other heel up and then just pop back and forth over those toes. Good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. All right, really, really good. Okay, let's just hold onto the chair, pick up your right foot and just do some ankle circles. So pick a direction, try and make the circles really, really big, going through the entire joint of the foot, and change directions. Good. And let's change feet, lifting up the left foot, one direction. Nice, and change. Good. All right, okay, let's come over to our chair. So, seated, coming down, and just be on the very edge of your chair so that you've got lots of space for your legs to move. You're supporting by pushing hands into the chair, and I just want you to again do those pony walks sitting down. So here you can have a good look at what the feet are doing, and you might find it really difficult to lift the heel as high as what you want. So just keep working on it and check your alignment that the ankle is tracking directly over the toes. Good, so you can really push here, push that ankle forward to try and get directly over that big toe, and coming down. All right, let's do both. I'm going to bring my feet closer. That's going to allow me to push the ankles even further. Good. I'm also squeezing my ankles together. So imagine you've got a piece of paper between your ankle bones. You are squeezing that piece of paper, and we are doing this so that the ankles don't roll apart. All right, so sometimes what happens is you do a bit of a sickle, right, where the bones roll away from each other in order to gain more height. We don't want that. Keep squeezing those ankle bones together. If you like, you can put a piece of paper or a pencil or something in between those ankle bones. Good, and let's just hold it. Find your right foot, hold your right foot in place. Make sure that your foot is directly beneath your knee. So not out, not too far in, just directly beneath the knee. And take your left foot and just kind of press it against the heel of the right so that you're trying to push that foot more and more over. Good. And now, same thing, but we're just going to flip over onto the toes. And again, we're just going to use our foot to help push it over. So this might be quite painful for you. If you have never worked flexibility in your toes before, then just go easy and don't push as hard, or maybe just keep your foot resting down. You don't need to use the other foot as additional weight. Good. Left foot now directly below the knee, and just using your right foot to push. So if you're kind of down here, then you can use the other foot to just help push that ankle further over the toes. Good, just like that. Nice long back, tall neck. So we don't want to be slouching, arching, just a nice long neck. Good, and then flipping over the toes, and again pushing. So be aware of sickling here. So imagine you've still got that piece of paper between the ankles, so you're not letting your ankle roll out sideways to the outside. You're, if anything, trying to roll it more to the inside, the midline of your body. Good. All right, and then just placing the other foot down on top of the toes, squeezing those ankle bones together, and just pushing over the feet, just like that. Good. So a nice deep stretch. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to turn this chair around again, have a block nearby, and let's just stretch out the Achilles. So you're going to come quite far away from your chair and sink down low. So you're holding your chair and it's there to help you maintain your balance. So we are up on our tippy toes, squeezing our ankle bones together. You can come up even higher and just kind of sink forward. And again, that's a nice stretch for the toes and the ankles. You are balancing with the chair. Good, and then bring those heels about halfway down, and I want you to keep squeezing them, but do little circles. Squeeze those ankle bones together. Don't let them separate. Weight is shifted back. So if I was to let go of the chair, I would fall backwards. And I'm just doing little circles to really stretch out the Achilles. Change directions. Good. 4 more here. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so let's start with our single foot stretches before double. So I'm sitting on my haunches here, or I'm kneeling down, and then I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to place it on tippy toes in front of me. I've got my hands behind me. You can, if you like, use some blocks to help you if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. We don't want the weight to be too far back. We want it to be quite upright and the toes almost in line with the knee. And then you are just pushing, again, pushing that foot over. So like someone is trying to push your ankle over your toes. Beware of any sickle. So bring that ankle bone towards the knee on the other side. And just holding it there. So it is a deep stretch in the toes, especially if it's something that you haven't really done before. And now we're just going to flip over onto our toes, and this is where it might hurt. So if your foot is kind of way down here, I want you to work on trying to straighten that ankle, make one straight line from the knee all the way down to the knuckle of the big toe. And you're pushing it over. So going on one leg is definitely a bit easier. If this is good for you, you can actually bring your hands to your ankle and increase the amount of weight pressing down on the big toe. If this is really painful for you, you can take one of your blocks and you can just wedge it between your hamstring and your calf. And you can hold it there. You can also hold onto your chair for balance or 2 blocks. But we want to try and have the weight forward as opposed to really far back. Right, so pushing down, hands on the ankle, the knee, whatever works for you, and keep working to push that heel forward. Get that ankle far over the toe. Good, all right, and let's change sides. So we've got the other leg up. I'm going to face this way. All right, so popping up onto tippy toes. Weight is not too far back. And just pushing that foot over. Don't let that sickle happen where you're rolling out towards your pinky toe. Keep rolling the ankle onto the big toe side, like you're trying to touch your thigh, your inner thigh on your other leg with that foot. So keep tracking ankle directly over toes, especially big toe, and just push it over. And when you're ready, you can flip the toe. Remember, you can sit on your block if you need to, just wedging it in between. Otherwise, you've just got your weight forward, hand is pushing down, helping to push that ankle more and more over the toes. And just breathe. I know this might be quite uncomfortable, but it really is important to work our feet, their mobility, their flexibility. Remember, they support the weight of our entire body all day. So they really do need to be trained just as much as the rest of our bodies. Good, okay, so now we are going to be doing this with both feet. So what I recommend is starting with the weight back and lifting up, squeezing those ankle bones together into a reverse tabletop. So here I have kind of less weight on my feet, a lot of weight on my shoulders, but I'm not allowing those heels to drop. So imagine you're wearing the highest pair of high heels ever and really push the heels over the toes. When you're ready, you're going to flip over onto the toes. So having your hands back like this and sharing the weight distribution between hands and feet makes it a lot easier on the feet. And then as you get more advanced, you can start to sink the bottom down. Bring the hands closer and sink the bottom down. Good. If this is too much, you can even do the stretch with the toes the other way, or you can cycle between having toes forward and toes back, or toes up and toes under. Good. And eventually we want to be with our hands directly underneath our shoulders, sinking our weight down, squeezing ankle bones together, knees squeezed together, and sinking down. So we're pushing both over, we're helping to push the heels over the ankles and over the toes, but then we're squeezing the knees and also dropping the hips down to really stretch out the top of the toes. Good, and then you can just reverse that, coming onto tippy toes again. Push those knees forward as much as you can, sink the hips down, and then push the knees forward, sink down, and push the knees forward. Squeeze those ankles together, and sink down. All right, very, very good. So just take a moment, shake it out, flex the feet nice and strong, and then I want you to point just the ankles and flex the toes, known as a floint. Pointing ankles, flexing toes, and then point the toes. Good. Flex those kneecaps, pull up the quads, sitting nice and tall. Flex just the toes. Flex the ankles. Good. Floint. Point. Floint. Flex. Last round. Floint. Point. Floint, flex, and shake it out. All right, so there you have it, just a little bit of foot and ankle flexibility. I hope that you've enjoyed this class and felt some new sensations in your body that you will keep up. So that's it from me. I will see you in our next workout.